They can hear on the YouTube now, Prabhuji, once it's recorded. So
yes, Mother. Yes.
they can make it, yeah. So that is there. So we are in chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 3 modes of material nature. Fine. So we are coming, actually, we have few more classes because we are in 14. We have another 4 chapters, 3 more chapters, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 more chapters to finish this course, understand the Bhagavad Gita. So you all can plan what you want to do next. You can join our level 2 or the Sadashiva course because that will be more. All we want is to, you can keep associating with us. Okay. So this is 3 modes of material. We have been, Krishna has been mentioning about it here and there in all the chapters, but we didn't go into depth. So this chapter is completely on that. Let us pay obeisance to Sri Radharata Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshulmitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manoabhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpaturabhyascha Kripa Sindhave Cha Patitam Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so let us have a short recap of what we did yesterday. So it started, the chapter started with Arjuna asking Hare Krishna. Okay, so take it. So what we are saying, we started with Arjuna's 6 questions. What about Kshetra, Kshetrajna, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, Neyam, knowledge. So Krishna says our Sharira is the Kshetra, where all the activities takes place, and he gave us the 24 elements with where the interactions of the takes place. And Kshetrajna, we are the observer. The soul is the observer and the observed is the body. And Krishna is also there as Paramatma or Super Soul. And then the process of acquiring knowledge is said only by humility and pridelessness, and we should submissively hear from the spiritual bona fide master. Then object of knowledge is about the Paramatma and the Super Soul is master. So then about the interaction between the Prakriti, Purusha and Union, we said because we have been in this material, we get conditioned by our association with the material modes of nature. Gunas, Sangosya, Karanam. Because of that, we get conditioned. And that we are modes of nature we are going to see in this chapter. And then Jnana Chakshush. Only if you understand this knowledge about the interaction, what this Prakriti is, and what is our relationship, how we got conditioned, then we can easily get liberated. Okay. So, and all this, why? Because we desire to come here and enjoy, and we got caught in that jala and got entangled with the modes of nature. So here So this chapter has got 3 sections. Very easy chapter. Conditioning of the soul by the material nature, Rajasguna, Sattoguna, Rajasguna, and Tamasguna. This we must be hearing this terminology and how the Maya is being, we are entangled by Maya, and effect of conditioning by the modes, and how to go beyond the transcending this mode, and what is the symptoms. So Krishna explains the symptoms of going beyond these modes of nature. Okay, how we can go beyond that. And about Maya, everyone knows. Maya is nothing but that little bit of Maya we are under means you are in the Sattva Guna. A little bit more, that means you are in Rajas Guna, and maximum will be in the Tamas Guna. That is like Maya has got a force which makes you feel what is not. Maya, you are in Maya. That is, we know we are not the body, but still we feel that it is true, isn't it? So it's all about material nature. So it starts off with this verse. The Supreme Personality Godhead said, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained the supreme perfection. So sages. So here in this picture we have King Nimi, who has been performing a homa, and he would invite sages for that. In those days they were doing that. These are the 9 sages, Navendra. So, and they come for this homa, and what is the prediction they give? These are the sages: Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pripalyana, Aviruti, Dravida, Chams. I think you may not have, it's not very famous like the 4 Sanat Kumaras or the Sapta Rishis, but this is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and here the predictions made because King Nimi asked them how to detect incarnations of Lord. So this was one of the questions which he asked the sages when they come to his city. So, and then so they talk about all the incarnations, and then they talk about the incarnations which they predict will be in Kali Yuga. Okay, the predictions we can see. Krishna Varanam Karshanam Sango Pangastra Prasadam Yagnai Sankirtam Prayayir Echanti Hi Su Medasha. So Krishna himself will come, but he won't come in his Varnam. His complexion will not be blackish, but he'll be accompanied by associates. Sango Panga Astra Prasadam. And what will he explain? It will be Yajna Sankirtana Yajna. So that is what he's going to preach. So in the age of Kali, this is given in 11th canto, 5th chapter. It's all about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how the prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga. So here it is clearly said that his complexion will not be blackish, but he is Krishna himself, and he will come to perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So ISKCON movement is not come by ISKCON, but actually started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. He is the incarnation of Krishna himself. He comes in the mood of devotee. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, and confidential men. And only intelligent people, Vedasha. So intelligent people will perform this congregational chanting. That's what is predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. And who is this Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It says Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto also says, Chanav Kalau Yad Stri Yuga. That is, you will come in the hidden nature in Kali Yuga. So it won't be as an incarnation, he will come as a devotee, in the mode of devotee, how a devotee is. And in the Garuda Purana, the Supreme Lord says, Aham Purna Bhavishyami Yuga Sandhyav Visheshata Maya Pure Dhanava Divipe Bhavishyami Sachi Sutta. Sachi Sutta means son of Sachi. So he will take birth as the son of Sachi in Navadvip. So even the place where he is going to come is given here. In Navadvip, Mayapur, where our headquarters for ISKCON is being coming up, is there already. I will come in my complete spiritual form in the first part of Kali Yuga. That is Yuga Sandhya, in the first part of Kali Yuga. So here we get the name of the mother, the place of birth. So any incarnations, there should be in the Shastras. It's not that anyone can claim that I am the God or anything, but it should be in the Shastras. Okay, this is given in the Garuda Purana. And then In the same Garana Purana is also stated, Kalehe Pratama Sandhyam Lakshmi Kanto Bhavishyati. That is, he will be the wife of Lakshmi. And Daru Brahma Samipas Tah Sannyasi Gaura Vigraha. That is, he will take up sannyas later and he'll be near Daru means wood and Brahma Swarupa Samipa. That is in Puri Jagannath. Jagannath Puri is not Jagannath, he appears in divinehood, no? He's always there. So he will be there in the first part of Kali Yuga, Kale Pratana Sandhya. Godhead will come in god-like form. First, he will become the husband of Lakshmi. Then he will become a sannyasi near Lord Jagannatha, who will appear in a divine wooden form. So, that is given in Garuda Purana also. That is, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will have golden complexion. And then in Nasima Purana, it's also said, Satya Daitya Kulati Nasha Samaye Simorda Matya. That is, he comes as Nasima Deva, no? And then Traitaka comes as Dashakandaram, that is the Rama. And then Paribhavan Rameti Nama. Supreme Personality, who in the Satya Yuga appeared as half man, half lion to cure a terrible disease that had ravaged the Daityas. And with the Treta Yuga, he appeared as a person named Rama, the person who defeated the demon Rama. And then, now in Gopalan Paripalyan Rajapure, Baram Haran Dwapare, Gauranga Priya Kirtana Kali Yuga Chaitanya Nama Prabhu. So now the name is given. In Dwapara Yuga, he removed the earth's burden and protected the Gopa people of Rajapura. Will appear again in Kali Yuga. His form will be golden, Gauranga. And he will delight in chanting the Lord's name, Holy's name, and his name will be Chaitanya, Priya Kirtana. So here we say in which Yuga he will come, and then what will he do? So his pastimes are also been mentioned. Okay. And then in the Atharva Veda, the Supreme Personality said, here I'll just look at this one. Chatu Sahasra Dapuri Pancha Sahasra Vyantri. That is, I will descend on the earth after the passage of 4,000 years in Kali age and before the birth. So he actually came 4,500 years ago in the bank of Ganges near Mayapur. I'll be a tall and saintly Brahmana devotee. I'll have all the auspicious symptoms of an exalted person. I will exhibit renunciation, how a devotee should be. I will have all auspicious signs. I'll be a devotee practicing Bhakti Yoga. I will taste the rasa of my own devotional service. So he comes in the mood of Radharani. Okay. And so he will rasa of devotional service. So in the incarnations, we get the time. We also come to know about the mother's name, the place he'll come, the wife of Lakshmi, and he also states about what he's going to do as a devotee, as an ex. And all the symptoms are there because a lot of pastimes also we know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. And he is the one who started this, but it got lost, and again, now Prabhupada has took it as a mission and to spread it because his spiritual master asked him to spread this movement in Ishti. So, now we come to Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, to the chapter again. Param Bhuya Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam Esnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Natito Gata. Blessed Lord said, again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained supreme perfection. What does he say? He says here, he is very eager to teach Arjuna. Okay, and he's giving the Shruti Pala. What is the best of all knowledge and what you can attain perfection. So, what is the Shruti Pala of chanting is also we know. And understanding Bhagavad Gita is more important for us, isn't it? It's also Shruti Pala, understanding Bhagavad Gita. So, here is very, very eager to teach Arjuna. Even Arjuna has not asked any questions, but he is again giving him more knowledge explanation. So, and what is the Kimi and Nine? By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendent nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of destruction. See, every time he says, this knowledge, transcendent knowledge, once you understand, then you come to understand this transcendental nature. Once you understand that, then you will be going back to his abode. He says, then you will not be born at the caught in the cycle of birth and death. So here he says you will not be born at the time of creation nor disturb the time of dissolution, because you will be in the spiritual abode, in his abode, right? Because you have attained his nature. So what is the benefit of understanding this? The knowledge he gives in this chapter is we can go back to his abode. Okay, we won't be disturbed by the creation or the dissolution of this material, cosmic material world. Okay. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti ya tasham brahma mahad yoni raham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So he is the father. So here Krishna is very clearly declaring that he is the one who is and Mother Earth is the mother. So we are, he is the seed-giving father. It's not like the theory which we are learning today, that we evolved from monkeys. It's not so. If we have evolved from monkeys, and all the monkeys should have become human beings, isn't it? So we didn't, that Darwin theory, there's a big debate. In fact, this theory has been banned in US. They are not taught anymore in the schools and colleges. Only in India, we're still continuing, just following blindly. So we are not evolved. Our sages, Krishna doesn't agree with this. He is the one who puts us in this material because we asked and we have come here. Okay. And actually, there are a lot of species. We have species in the water, species in the reptiles, and many species of life. Okay. And we would have taken any form of them and we would have come, but ultimately we have come today, a human being. Doesn't mean that we won't go back to the other forms. It would be there depending on our karmic reactions. Okay. So this is, we didn't evolve, but we were reading Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Aham Bija Pradapita. Okay. Only when he impregnates, he sends us here because we asked for it. So he will send us to here. And once you are here, then how, whether it is for us to enjoy and then go back to his abode. That is why he has given us the Vedas to understand and think. But when what happens when we come here, we forget our relationship to the Lord and we think this is the world. That's how we have got caught in the Maya. That is the course of material nature and think this is real world. But we've forgotten our connection to the Lord. So here Krishna says, if you understand this, that you are not, only by association, you have forgotten me. And if you understand this chapter, then you will come back to me. Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakriti sambhava vibhadanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. So material nature consists of three modes. Now he is talking about the characteristics: goodness, passion, and ignorance. That is, goodness is sattva gunam, passion is rajas gunam, and tama is the ignorance. So when the living entity comes in contact with the nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. And we can see this even in our life, even with ourselves, also with the people around us. There are people who are in goodness, and there are people in passion, there are people in ignorance. No? So tamas guna. When tamas guna people, how many times you try to think, they won't. They are much reluctant to do anything. They like to be just dull. They don't want to put any endeavor. Where some people know they'll be very sportive. They want to do this. They have so much desires. They like this, that. Whereas goodness, there are people who are very calm, contented, and that kind of nature. These three kinds of nature we see in this material nature, isn't it? So we see such kind of people. We get conditioned by that. So what are the qualities of a person in Sattvaguna? Tatra Sattvam Nimarlatva Prakashakam Annamayam Sukha Sangena Badnati Gnana Sangena Chanaka. Sinless one, the mode of goodness being purer than the others is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Okay, so because he is calm and he knows what is right, what is wrong, and he will try to be good, and in goodness he is purer than the others and is eliminating and free from sinful reactions, most of it. Okay, so those situated in this mode develop knowledge. So they can develop knowledge because they can understand. And why? Like, suppose, whereas in Tamaguna is more interested in sleeping and not bothered in spirituality. Okay. Whereas Rajas Guna, they don't have time for spirituality. So in Tamaguna, like, okay, another example we can take, say, if I give a book to read to a Tamaguna and give him, say, okay, finish reading in 2 hours, all finally we see him sleeping. He is not bothered in reading book. Whereas Rajas Guna, he'll open the book, but his mind and attention will be wandering here and there. He'll get easily distracted rather than study. Whereas people in Sattva Guna, they will actually read and they study because they do not need coaching. They like to study, isn't it? So that is that. And they are more disciplined, and they will, and their memory will be, and they will be able to increase their memory, and they can study by themselves. They don't need coaching. But today, because they say it's competition, we try to give coaching. So actually the Rajas people, they don't study, they cram, they memorize things because unless they don't understand. So, but Sattva Guna, they can analyze better. Because they have the knowledge, they can develop the knowledge, cultivate. But one problem is there with the Sattva Guna, that is, they become conditioned by the concept of happiness. Because they are organized, they lead a simple life and satisfied, they don't want to go beyond that. They don't want to go beyond that thing and try to understand the absolute truth. They don't want to go beyond. They're happy with whatever they have, or they're proud of their knowledge, and they're just complacent. They get stuck in that mode, okay? Stuck in that situation. So that is one problem with they get conditioned by when you are in Sattva Guna, okay? You need to pure Guna, Sattva Guna to understand the absolute. Then what is the qualities of a Rajaguna, mode of passion? The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, one is bound to material futilities. Rajo Rajatmakam Vidhi, Trishanga Sangha Samudbhavam, Nibandanti Kaunteya, Dharma Sangena Dehina. And for them, it's unlimited. So if one desire is finished, they want some desires, and it keeps on coming. It's never, one desire is finished, then he has another desire. So it's like, it keeps on sprouting up. So he's not happy with just one house. He wants to have 2 houses or 3 houses or some more cars. The neighbors have got something, I also will get something. Oh, somebody I have seen in this YouTube or this Amazon, something like that. His desires and longings will never end. It keeps on there, and he keeps on working and working hard for that. And greed is there. And if desire is finished, then greed comes. And if it's not, is hunger. And that is on. He is bound to the fruits of the activities. So he is bound in that activities. Okay. So he is always working, hard working, and his desires will never end. That is Rajas Guna. Okay. Nature of that. Then what are the qualities of a person in Tamoguna? The mode of ignorance. Tamasve ajnana jam vidhi mohanam sarva dehinam Pramaadalasya nidrabis tan nibananti Bharata. Pramaadalasya nidrabis. Pramadam is, this mode is ignorance, indolence, and sleep. Nidrabis, sleep. And alasya, indolence. They don't want to do anything. They cause the illusion of all living. The result is, and especially for spiritual thing, they are not bothered. And when we say, so they don't have time for anything. They don't like it. They don't want it, and they are indifferent. And they're sick. So they are like mad. Why I say madness? Because they're indifferent to spirituality and indolence and sleep. Okay, this is how, and they will get easily intoxicated, and they will also take to killing or sinful actions, and that kind of thing. They get attracted. They are not interested in this. And typical, I know Prabhuji was talking theatrically what you find in a government office. They come to the office and they sleep there. They don't want to do any work in the government. So they're like that, Tamaguna. Okay. Sattvam sukhe sanjati raja karmani bharata jnanam avartya tu tamaha pramade sanjati utam. I'm not showing those videos because, it's not supposed to show, I think. So, but anyway, it was in the PPT given by the Prabhuji. The mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions him to the fruits of action. Ignorance to madness. So what happens? There is something you're binding by the activities. So we are goodness, we are still bound to the material world because of the conditioning, because we are in the happy mood. No, we don't want to go beyond, we are satisfied, compassion, things. Whereas passion is conditioned because of the is attraction to the fruits of action. And ignorance is to madness, because that pramada is sanjayati. So covering, that's why it is covers the one's knowledge, it binds him to the thing. So ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. That's what here Krishna is saying. But one more thing we should understand. The Krishna is saying sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness. See, in a day, we also may not be in one mode all the time. Sometimes you will be in the sattvic mode, some situations will be sattvic, some situations will be rajasic, somewhere will be tamasic. Like early in the morning, we might be in the sattvic mode, but as the day goes, we become rajasic, and by the night comes, will be tamasic. So sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, son of Bharat. And sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at the other time, the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there's always a competition of promise for supremacy. So there, in some people, something will be more. Some modes will be more. I mean, passion mode might be more, and other mode will be of lesser percentage. In some, that will be other, but in all, they will have a percentage of these three modes. So then, and also in different situations, you can find yourself in which mode you will be. Sometimes you will be in which mode. So, so this way, there is always a competition. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that if you can cultivate to be in the mode of goodness, then you can at least overcome the mode of passion and ignorance. Then there is a chance for you to go from the uplift yourself from mode of goodness to mode of sattva guna. I mean pure sattva guna, that is Vasudeva thing. It is something where Vasudeva is the sarva. So you can go to the spiritual. So you can go beyond that. But you have to be in the mode of goodness. So at least you can cultivate to be in the mode of goodness. That will be better than being in the mode of passion or ignorance. Okay, this is how our mind will be there. Race of wisdom. There's sattva guna is knowledge, wisdom, whereas passion is intense desire and endeavor. Here is inactivity and madness. So manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of body are eliminated by knowledge. Because we can develop the knowledge, we can understand what is what. So we'll be calm, contented, virtuous. But that because of that, okay, we'll be in that mode. But oh chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor will develop. So by this is symptoms, we can understand the modes of which mode a person is, which mode the living entity is. Okay. So they will, if they are in rajasic mode, they'll be attached to the fruits of what they get. This is mine and I won't give it to anybody, and they'll have uncontrollable desires and anchoring. Okay, he wants more and more and more, and he'll be work hard like that. O son of Kuti, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. So, son of Kuru, so he's telling Arjuna, see, when there's a madness, he will be, inertia will be there. So, where will these people who are in sattvas or rajas go after they die? Okay, so let us look at that. Krishna is going to say, when one dies so he is telling us the symptoms, the characteristics of the modes of nature, okay, and how one is not all the time in one mode. There will always be a supremacy for prominence, okay. But if you can cultivate, you can be in mode of goodness. That will be helpful. You can be peaceful. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planet. That means he can go to the higher planets, right? But that is action. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom because he is inactive. He wants to be like a madness. So that is what happens in the take birth. Karmana sukritaho sattvavikam nirmalam palam rajastu palam dukkham agnanam tamas palam. Now he is giving the Shruti palam. By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion results in distress. Rajastu palam dukkham. Okay? Because even if you get something, you are not happy with it. You want some more. That hankering is there all the time. And you're working, and so you'll always be in grief. That will be in result. So people who are in Rajasic will always result in distress. Actions performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness. Ajnanam, because he doesn't know what is right, no? So he'll be foolish. Tamasa phalam is ajnanam. He'll be in foolishness. This is the result of these actions. So from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, grief develops. And from the mode of ignorance, foolish madness and illusion develop. So we should be understanding from which mode we need to be. Important to balance it. We should not be succumb to the mode of goodness or tamas. Urdam gacchanti sattvasta madhya tishyanti rajasaha jaganya guna vrittista ado gacchanti tamasa. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish lords. So when we saw this, our universe, where we have the 14 planets, and we are here, Bhurloka, Earth plane, and there are higher planets, Bhuvaloka, Svargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka is the Lord Brahma's abode, Svargaloka is the Lord of Indraloka, and we have 7 sages and Rakshas, and below is the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala, and below that is the hellish planets. So if you have tamas guna, you'll go to the lower planets, or if you are you can be in rajas guna, you'll be in the earthly planet only. Otherwise, sattva guna, you can go to higher planets. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendent to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. Also, it's like the boat. You are in a boat where human body is the boat and spiritual master is your captain, and instructions of spiritual is the favorable way. So it depends upon how you want to go across this ocean of ocean of birth and death. Okay, by taking submissive hearing to the spiritual master. So when because our hands are tied, only the persons who are whose hands are free, who are liberated, they can come and tie us. So only with pure devotees, getting association with devotees who have understood this can make us understand. So when the embodied being is able to transcend these 3 modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy the nectar even in this life. So he need not even go to the spiritual world, even being here, by understanding this, how this modes of nature is acting and how he is getting illusioned by the Maya, he can become free from the birth, death, and old age distresses. Because even if it is there, even if he gets some disease, he will think it is the boon from the whatever Krishna gives, the mercy of the Lord. And he will take whatever it is given. He won't have, he'll be beyond the duality. So we are going to see the symptoms of a person who is beyond this, who has transcended these modes. Arjuna inquired, "Oh, my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature?" Okay. The Blessed Lord said, "He who does not hate illumination, attachment, delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear. who seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active and he regards alike pleasure and pain. Looks on a clod, a stone, a piece of gold with an equal eye. So even if there's some distresses come to him, he'll be calm. He won't be concerned. He says that it's all because of the being in this modes of nature. He has to, there will be a lot of exams and things, tests given by the Lord, but he'll be firm, knowing that the modes alone are active and he regards pleasure and pain alike. So he's not going to, when he gets a pain, he won't be lamenting, nor when he gets pleasure, he'll be thinking, this is the end of life and things. No, he is firm and is not attached. He doesn't hate elimination. And who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same. So this is very difficult to take, when somebody is blaming us, then we really get angry, isn't it? Who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings. Such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So the symptoms of the person who has transcended nature is also given here. Okay. So, and doesn't mean that one person's life will be all the time smooth. There will always be ups and downs, and how he handles that and how he comes. So here Krishna is telling how they remain calm in both the thing, whether they're ups and downs, they're very calm. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Bhakti yogena sevate sa guna samhate brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So when they, because of what they'll be doing, they'll always be engaged in devotional service to the Lord. So they love him and they always, their mind and intelligence are occupied there. So engaged in that. So for them, all these distresses and pain, they will handle it equally. Brahmano hi pratistam Amritsavasya cha Sashvatasya Dharmasya Sukasya Ikantisha cha. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. So only going back to the Lord is what. So finally he summarizes that the whole world is in the mode of passion, and we saw that quality of Brahman is not appreciated. Even this summarizes saying that one untangles from mortal thing by being in Krishna consciousness, which is in transcendental plane. Only if you go to devotional service, then only we can transcend these modes of nature. So we saw three modes: Sattva Guna, Rajas Guna, Tamas Guna, how they raise one for prominence and action. How we Sattva Guna will be peace and calm, but he gets conditioned by the happiness and knowledge. Whereas Rajas Guna, they are conditioned by the fruits of activities and they're all the time be in distress because they're not happy. Their grief is the odd. Whereas Tamas Guna, they'll always be inertia and madness. So then how they go to the lower planets, where Sattva Guna can go to higher planets and things. So purification is we have to get. So what should we do? We should live in goodness mode. That is better. Only then connect everything to the Lord and engage in direct bhakti yoga. So ultimate only then, if this is the essence of this particular chapter. So it talks about our lifestyle, how we can, it's in our hands to re-engineering it. Try to be in mode of goodness. And all that comes from our habits. Okay. Whatever thoughts, from the thoughts we get to actions, and actions once is repeated, you become the habits. And so if we can change our habits, our lifestyle, we can be in the mode of goodness. And the modes are always fluctuating. It's not that you'll be in one thing. Depends on most of the time in which mode you are. Then you will be able to transcend that by only taking to Krishna consciousness. So if we take up to these spiritual practices, association of devotees will help us to be in this: books, scriptures, chanting, deity worship, engage in work. I mean, not that you sit and become sannyas, no. Engage in the work, do your prescribed duties, and also you eat prasadam. So That is the essence of this chapter. Okay. Simple living and high thinking. Vancha kalpatra abhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitam nam pavnebo vaishnavo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.